So, good evening, dispatchers and aspiring freight dispatchers. I'm Antoine West. If you haven't met me yet, I help real freight dispatch business owners build real freight dispatch businesses from home. And today, I'm going to tell you my exact strategy to sign up your first three drivers fast. I'm going to break down this exact strategy. So, if you're new or you're just starting out, you're looking to sign up drivers, video is for you. All right. So this is one of the main things freight dispatchers struggle with is signing up drivers. And really the only thing that will make your freight dispatch business fail is not being able to sign up enough drivers. Other companies, let's take for example, a trucking company, they have so many factors that could make their business fail. Let's say for one, losing insurance. We know so many trucking companies, you lose their insurance coverage for various different reasons, and it ends up making their business fail. Another one is maintenance issues. A lot of trucking businesses fail due to maintenance issue, and that's just one type of business. But my point is, in any industry, most businesses have a lot of factors that could make them fail. But with freight dispatching, there's a very low barrier to entry. You don't have to have insurance. You don't have to have a lot of qualifications to become a freight dispatcher. The only thing you need to have a freight dispatching business is to have a consistent amount of owner operators wanting to sign up for your business, right? So this is why I try to convey the message through my videos is a freight dispatching agreement will not make your business successful, right? That's just a piece of paper that's easy to get. And I say this because over the years, I had so many people talk to me on the phone or in the comments of my videos. What they'll say is, I have everything I need. I just need my freight dispatch agreement. I just need a freight dispatch agreement, right? The paperwork that you need to set up any company is very small, right? Do you know how many people get all the paperwork they need, freight dispatch agreement, and have all these questions answered, but they still never sign up one truck driver? So if you're planning on starting a freight dispatch business, the main thing I would think about when you start all the way through your company, the main thing that you would have to think about is, how do I increase the amount of drivers coming into my company? How do I increase the amount of customers coming into my company, right? I think sometimes what I've been thinking lately, and this has came from working with the members of my freight dispatcher boot camp. I'll talk more about that here soon, but we've been able to accomplish so much in that boot camp, and working with people like that one-on-one helps me to learn what people need help with, right? And what's making people fail, right? So as a freight dispatcher, you need to be thinking about, how do I get more customers to buy into my service every single month? That's what you think about from the beginning. That's what you think about 10 years later. And that's the main objective you think about, because customers are bringing cash flow into your business. Every business exists, like we need to get back to business. Somewhat, I think social media has messed this up, because I don't think we're really talking real business online or social media. So that's where I want to get back to. And mainly what I'm doing, like all day, every day, I'm working with members inside my freight dispatcher boot camp. And I know I haven't went live on social media in a while, but basically I'm used to talking real business, from helping them out. And then the things that we talk about, what I help the members of the boot camp with, the things that we talk about actually lead to success, because we're not asking questions like, how do I get a dispatch agreement? Really, for a lot of the members of my freight dispatcher boot camp, once they sign up their first customer, that's when we get the dispatch agreement ready, right? I'm going to get into this video. I kind of got an outline put together of what I want to talk about in this video. But since I've been working with members in my boot camp so much lately, it's like I have so much information to give out, right? So if you want to, and one thing that being running the boot camp has helped me to think about more is brand messaging, right? I believe that's the number one reason stopping business owners, especially new business owners, from opening up a business, not only in trucking and as a freight dispatcher, but any business, but freight dispatching too. It's about your brand messaging. It's about how your messaging comes off. It's about how when you have a social media post or you come on video, do you speak in a way where your potential customer believes in you? That's the main thing right there, brand messaging. See, it's like when people come into freight dispatch, and what I noticed over the years is just like people ask about, like, how do I create a freight dispatch agreement? How do I get load board access, right? But people never ask about how do I increase my brand messaging, right? So what it is most people are not going to ask the correct questions that lead to success, right? So you have to be asking the right questions that's going to actually lead to success. So it's all about brand messaging. What you say about your services, uh, what you say about your businesses, what you believe in, right? When you're marketing your company, what you believe in should come out through your marketing. For example, right? I'll just use this as an example. I had a person sign up with my bootcamp, dispatcher bootcamp yesterday, and what she said is, I've seen a lot of videos about freight dispatching online, but the reason I chose you because you speak like you actually care. You just don't want people's money. You want them to actually be successful, right? So you as a freight dispatcher, when you market your business, owner operators are going to be able to tell if you're just trying to make some quick money or if you really care about your customer, right? And that comes out in your brand messaging. And what I teach people in the boot camp is us as freight dispatchers, we don't have a tangible product. We're not offering something physical to somebody. I think when you're offering something physical, when you're selling something physical, they can see what you're selling them. And whether it's a piece of clothes or a picture or whatever it is, the person can be like, oh yeah, I like that. It's very nice. And they'll pay you the money for what they believe it's worth, right? But you got to realize as a freight dispatcher, you're offering a service. It's not anything physical that you went and built and you like, here you go to your potential customer. You're offering a service. Really what you're selling is you're selling the belief in yourself, right? And I don't believe it's any different as a freight dispatcher and me selling freight dispatch trainings, right? When I sell freight dispatch trainings, I'm selling the belief in myself. So when I speak, I have to speak in a way where people know, like, and trust me, where they feel like, oh yeah, he got the answers. He seems like he knows what he's talking about, right? And then as a business owner, as a marketer, I never want to market or talk about my business or what I'm offering the same way as the market. I want to get as far away from the market as possible, right? Because I want to stand out to people, right? So these are just all the exact same things you have to do as a freight dispatcher to sell your services. Because if you don't, you're going to blend in with the market and everyone's just going to look past you, right? But this has to do with your brand messaging. So brand messaging is one of the most important parts about starting a freight dispatch business. And this is why you'll see people taking training course after training course, getting a freight dispatch agreement, learning about getting load board access, learning about how to use the load boards, learning about all that and still not making any money, right? We need to get back to real business. And that's like, how do you make the money, right? It's not like asking all these other questions. It's like, what leads me to making money? And I'm trying to do exactly that as fast as I humanly can. Like, right? Like I said, I'm used to working with people in my boot camp. I'm talking real business. We skipping over all the little stuff and we get into how do I make money? And how do I make money as fast as I can? And that's what a business exists for. You as a business, when you open up your dispatch business, forget all the little questions. Ask yourself, how can I make money? How can I get cash flow into my business as fast as I can? And then you execute on all those steps. So another thing I believe when it comes to training and mentorship, what I see in society these days when it comes to training or mentorship, we've gotten off of really what makes money. Any training or mentorship program you're involved in, the main thing should be, how do I sign up consistent customers, right? Anything I'm buying into or any training or if I'm starting a business, the main thing I want to know is how do I sign up consistent customers and how do I increase the amount of customers coming into my business, right? You got to understand business is like a factory or a machine, right? Like an engine. An engine takes in air, and the more air an engine can take in, the more powerful it is. The business is an engine. The more customers you can take on, the more powerful your business will be. You'll be able to grow your business larger. So the more drivers that you sign up for your freight dispatch business is going to allow you to actually grow the business. Hire dispatchers to work for you. If you like a person in my freight dispatcher boot camp, before she finished a month in the boot camp, she had been in the boot camp 3 weeks. She already had plenty of drivers, and she hired a dispatch manager to work for her, right? So any business too, you want to work yourself out the day-to-day operations, right? You don't want to just stay a dispatcher forever, right? That's just being an employee working in the day-to-day operations, but you need to do the marketing work that you need to sign up the drivers, to hire a dispatcher to work for you, to hire a dispatch manager to work for you, just like students in my dispatcher boot camp. And they're able to do that because they're signing on so many drivers. That's the most important part in the dispatch business. It's the hardest part. Nobody wants to talk about it, but you want to, as a business person, what you want to do as a business person, you want to learn the hardest problems, the biggest hurdles in your customer's business, and be able to solve them, be able to talk, because nobody else is going to talk about it. So you want to be the one talking about it. Just like as a freight dispatcher, the hardest thing to do is increase revenue in a trucking business. And that's what you should want to talk about. You should want to talk about your customers' biggest pain points. My customers' biggest pain points as a dispatch trainer and mentor, my customers' biggest pain points is signing up drivers, right? And I already know that. That was my biggest pain point when I first came into it. So I've been through like every single thing, every emotion that my customers have been through. So what I want to do, since I've been through all that already, I just want to be able to give you the right answers, right? Like, of course, you as a business person, you want to make money. That's what you're getting into business for. So that's why when you open up a freight dispatching business, the main thing you need to think about is, how do I sign up more drivers? Because thinking about signing up more drivers is going to lead to you making more money, right? Asking yourself, how do I sign up more drivers, is just like asking yourself, how do I make more money? And that's the main important part in a business. And what most people do by putting their minds on a dispatch agreement, how do I get load board access, and all these other things, what they do is they start their business only thinking about those things. So you're only thinking about little small pieces that you need for your business. But what you're not thinking about is, how do I offer more value to the owner operators, right? How do I offer more value to my customer? Because that's what's going to make you money. But people aren't asking themselves that. I'm going to get a little deeper into my outline here. And that's why I had to have an outline, because I go way off course. But like I said, brand, these are all terms. Write these terms down, and also look them up. Brand messaging, that's a big one. Write down brand messaging, and I would also look that up. Brand awareness. In the beginning of your company, you want to get as much brand awareness as possible. You want to get as much awareness on your brand. Now, if you're blending in with the market, just making flyers, posting them on social media, saying you can find the highest paying loads, and the owner operators never see your face, they never see you on video, they don't know who you are, they do not know, like, and trust you. So then they aren't going to want to sign up for your company. But if you get owner operators to know, like, and trust you, they'll be ready to sign up. Because the thing about owner operators, the reason they're even going to reach out to your dispatch service is because they already feel like they know, like, and trust you, right? If they don't see who you are, if they don't see your personality, they're not going to have a reason to reach out to you, right? And I know sometimes, just like for members in my boot camp, marketing, you got to have a lot of confidence to market a business, to be on video, to be on live video marketing a business. But the thing is, once you gain that confidence and once you start marketing your business like you're supposed to, you can really make an unlimited amount of money per year, right? There's no limit to the amount of money you can make, right? Now, I'll tell you guys like how I started to make a lot of money in freight dispatching. Basically, it was a thought, right? So in the beginning of my business, I said, if I want to be successful as possible, I believe instead of worrying about all the little details that other people would worry about when they're starting a business, I believe what I would need to do is find out everything possible about starting and running a successful trucking company, right? If I just learn all that information, like how do I actually make a trucking company successful? So what I did is I learned all that information for myself. And since I hold it in mind, right? So I know for myself how to make a success, how to build a successful trucking company, right? So then as a dispatcher, what I did is implement those ideas because I didn't have a truck or a trailer. I didn't have a trucking company, but as long as I know how to run a successful trucking company, right? So that's how I pretty much built this whole thing, starting off with zero. You don't have to have any money to start a successful freight dispatch business and be making 100,000 plus per year. You don't have to start off with anything. The only thing you need to start off with is the knowledge of how you make or how do you create or scale a successful trucking company, because that's really what the owner operators want, right? They may just come to you for dispatching services, and they may think that they want dispatching services, but what they really want, they want the information and the know-how of how to make their trucking business successful, right? So since I didn't have any money at the time when I first started my business, I'm like, well, if I just learn how to make a trucking business successful, and then if I offer that to other people, they're going to be willing to pay me money for me to help implement those ideas into their business. So to be a successful freight dispatcher, that's the only thing you really got to do is learn the steps to create a successful trucking business. And then it's thousands of owner operators in the market right now, and people are constantly getting their trucking authority, right? People are constantly getting their trucking authority who are brand new. But me, since I've been in the industry some time and I learned all those ideas about how to improve a trucking company, I feel like I can eat forever. That's what I'm saying. You can literally eat forever being a dispatcher with the owner operators that's already out there, or more of them are just constantly coming in, right? So I believe that's the most important thing as a freight dispatcher, and that's how you're going to get unlimited customers, right? Most freight dispatchers, they're just going to hop in this game to make some quick money, and then they're going to end up not making any money. But if you take it seriously and build it like a real business and actually care about your customer, more than anything, helping them to become successful, you can make some real money, right? And for myself, after dispatching multiple drivers, what I started to see is there are steps you can implement into a trucking business to make it successful. I believe most people, including a lot of owner operators, people who own their authority, they're going to be talking negative about the market. They're going to be thinking, what are rates like this week? How's the market? Things like that. And here goes another big one for freight dispatchers and for owner operators. I will write this down and look this up also. You have to create market demand. It seems like that's what a lot of freight dispatchers don't understand. And you as a freight dispatcher, you have to understand that so you can teach it to owner operators. That's another thing. I didn't know till I started my freight dispatch business, but it's going to be a lot of mentorship, right? That's what made me a good mentorship in teaching people how to start freight dispatching businesses is I had to start mentoring a lot of owner operators. And that's what you got to realize as a freight dispatcher. You got to learn the information first, and then being a freight dispatcher is more than just booking loads. You're doing a lot of, if you're a good freight dispatcher, you're doing a lot of mentorship and training with your driver, right? So what I told myself from the beginning, I was like, I just got to basically become an owner operator myself. I have to know what it takes to become a successful owner operator, and then hold those ideas or hold those thoughts in mind, and then just be able to give it out to my customers, right? So that's one of the main things. You have to already know how to run a successful trucking business, and that's the program. Your freight dispatch business is an implementation program. This is just all knowledge coming from my boot camp, because we talking every day. We're on video call, and we just learn so many things, and so much comes up, and then I even learn from that. So that's one thing that I want to start putting out there more, that a freight dispatching service is an implementation program. You're implementing the knowledge of how to improve their trucking company. You're not just booking random loads. They're coming into your implementation program, and then you're telling them step by step what to do to improve their trucking company. And then the more owner operators that follow your implementation program, you'll see more of them start becoming successful. So that's what happened to me. I just learned all the information of what it takes to become a successful owner operator. And then I started to market that value. I started to talk about the steps to have a successful trucking business. And what that did, that attracted owner operators to me, because I'm talking about the ideas that lead them to success, right? So then that was me building increase in market demand. So that was me building market demand by giving out value, right? I'm getting demand on my brand. So I learned those successful steps, gave them out to owner operators, and then a certain amount of those owner operators join my implementation program. And like in the boot camp, I keep it real, right? It's no different than what I'm doing right now, right? I'm giving out information for free. Some would take that information and execute on it on by themselves. Some won't do anything with it. Some people would join my implementation program where you work with me one-on-one, right? Same exact way with you as a freight dispatcher and your owner operators. You need to give out value for free, and then a certain amount of those owner operators are going to join your dispatch service or your implementation program. It's basically like you're putting your owner operators in a boot camp program. You have a boot camp program, and you already know, just like me for freight, I already know freight dispatching up and down, forwards and back is too easy for me, right? But that's how you get as a freight dispatcher. You learn how to run a trucking business, forward and back, left and right. You learn all that. So what I would do is maybe take 2 weeks, and this is what I did. I just took like a week or two, and I learned everything possible. I mean, I eat, sleep, and breathe how to make a trucking business successful, right? And I knew I was on to some money, right? So if somebody else is talking about something else, like, I'm not trying to hear that, right? I'm trying to learn all these ideas so I can hurry up and get my ass on social media and start marketing this so I can get out of my job. So I don't want to talk about nothing else. I don't want to hear nothing else. Keep it to yourself. I'm on a mission, right? So that's how it has to be. That's how it has to get. See, Cedric said he's signing up for the boot camp next week. I'm so excited. Hey, I'm excited for you, Cedric. We can't wait to see you in there. Another thing about the boot camp is, I have successful students in that boot camp, and they're still in there. We all work together. It's one team, one fight in the boot camp. Really, that's how we run it. And I came up with that idea because I believe it'd be best, or new people can learn the quickest by that, seeing people that's already been in there. And I've already been through what you've been through, and I have students in the boot camp who just been through what you've been through, maybe a month, 30 days. I feel like, and that's why I'm so happy. Big shout out to my members in the boot camp, because I thank them so much. I couldn't do it without them. That's what type of training the boot camp is. It's not only me. I got people in that boot camp. I could not do it without them, So really a big shout out to them. Yeah, but Cedric, to answer your question about one-on-one mentorship in the boot camp. So how the boot camp runs is, when you first come into the boot camp, you'll watch about an hour-and-a-half video, and that would teach you about signing up owner operators, right? And it teach you the steps that you need to do when coming into the boot camp. So you'll watch that video, and then we have a boot camp chat where we're active in that boot camp chat. Anybody in the boot camp or me, we can text in that boot camp chat, and you'll have an app that's on your phone, so you have access to that app. And in the boot camp chat, if you have a question or anything going on in your business, or you just want to say hey to everybody, you can type in that boot camp chat, or you can even send an audio message, right? So that's what I do. Every day I'm just dropping information, dropping knowledge in that boot camp chat, right? And that's how training and mentorship has to be too. In any industry, I believe these days it has to be set up like in a workshop or boot camp, because just getting one recorded video, I don't believe that's enough information. It needs to be like how I do in a boot camp. Just like I could be sitting here in my office, anytime I think of an idea for anybody in the boot camp, I just get on my phone and get in the boot camp chat and let them know exactly what's on my mind, right? So as soon as these good ideas are hitting my mind, I'm putting them in the boot camp chat. So you can have all these high value ideas in your business from day one. And that's why people are becoming so successful so fast, because I'm putting so many high value ideas in their business from the beginning of their business, and then they're able to implement that. So as far as the mentorship, you got that boot camp chat where we chat every day. You have a Saturday boot camp, and it's from noon Eastern time to 1 p.m. Eastern time every Saturday. It is also recorded. So if it's a Saturday that comes up that you can't make it, you can watch the recording. That boot camp, so we do that every Saturday. And yeah, so it's recorded. If you have any questions, you can just leave a comment or a question inside the boot camp under the video. So you can still ask questions on that video. Oh yeah, that's another thing. So it's every Saturday and it's a video call. We're all on video together. It's supposed to be for 1 hour. A lot of times it's lasted as long as 3 hours. So that's the relationship too. Yeah, and we're building relationships in the boot camp, right? We really are getting to know each other, talking to each other on the phone, being on video with each other. So it's that type of deal. It's that type of deal. So that's every Saturday. And then a lot of times through the week, we have members in the boot camp, veteran members. They'll go live, talk about some information through the week, or I'll go live through the week. So it's not only me. And sometimes we're doing things like several times a week, but the only like truly scheduled meeting is that Saturday boot camp. But a lot of weeks we are doing live videos through the week on whatever we feel like training that we need to put out there. So in that boot camp program, I pretty much designed it like if I was starting a business or helping my best friend start a business, right? I wouldn't just give them a training video and be like, hey man, go watch this 8-hour long video to find out how to be a dispatcher. No, I would basically be chopping it up with them on the phone or face to face talking to them, telling him every step of the way, like, hey, do this first, or, and then I'll be giving them ideas all the time, and I'll let them know what to do step by step, right? So with the boot camp, I'm trying to come as close as possible. Like we're sitting in a room, and I'm helping you every step of the way start your business, and that's why we got like the boot camp chat, and I can send out audio messages. So you'll definitely be hearing from me every day inside the boot camp, right? One way or another, you'll be hearing from me every day. You can also write me direct messages inside the boot camp. Also, when you start signing drivers, right? This is the thing too. This is why sometimes like recorded training doesn't do any good, because like if you watch a recorded training on how to dispatch a truck, right? What would most likely happen, the problems that you would have once you make it up to that point, it won't even be something that was covered in the recorded training, right? So the good thing about me, when you join a boot camp, the first day you sign up your first driver, I'm going to be like on a video call with you. We're going to have the load board pulled up, and we're going to be dispatching that truck together, right? And then I'm going to probably give you some like real great knowledge. And I know even on my channel, I don't talk about dispatching trucks as much, because I'm talking about like more marketing, lead generation, things like that, because the actual dispatching part is big and a lot comes with it. But you have to, as a business owner, we want to outsource that work anyway. And we just want to be the face of the company. We just want to market the company and bring in drivers. And that's what a real company is, right? The owner is just the face of it, the company, and you're bringing in drivers, you're marketing. They know, like, and trust you. And then you teach other dispatchers how to do the dispatching part, right? You don't want to be locked in. That's why most people fail at this business, because most people say, oh, what most people say, we talk about so much. We talk about the law of attraction in the boot camp. But see, most people would actually say, I want to be a freight dispatcher, right? And that's the only thing they do is go out and learn how to be a freight dispatcher. But most people aren't saying, I want to start and run a successful freight dispatching company. You don't want to be a freight dispatcher. You want to be the owner of a freight dispatcher company. It's differences in that. Being a freight dispatcher is somebody who just thinks about load boards and how do I negotiate and dispatch and stuff, something like that. Being a freight dispatching business owner, they think about how do I train employees to be a dispatcher? How do I bring in and sign up more drivers every month? How do I steadily increase the revenue in my company? How do I work myself out of the business so I can enjoy more time, so I can be making the money that I'm making now, but hardly, not doing any work, right? That's how a business owner thinks. So you got to think as a business owner. So yeah, definitely, Cedric. I'd be happy to see you in there along with the other members. We have a great time in there, and I'm just used to talking to them, and sometimes I just get to going. Well, we're about 30 minutes in, and I guess what I've been talking about is talking about signing up your first three drivers are signing up drivers, but I really haven't been going off of my outline here. So let me hop into it. Right. So most dispatchers they waste days, weeks, and months doing things out of order, right? Most dispatchers go all the way to the operations phase, right? It's four different departments in your dispatching business. You got the marketing department, the sales department, the customer support department. A lot of people stay stuck in the customer support department about how do you get all this paperwork, dispatch agreement, all that stuff. That's the customer support department. Then lastly, you have the operations department, which is dispatching. So where most people mess up at is they have misdirected energy, misdirected thoughts. The majority of most people, when they start a freight dispatching business, the majority of their thoughts are in the operations department, way at the bottom of the pipeline, down at the end of the manifestation, right? That's when you done manifested the driver and you're actually like dispatching them. But you need to go to the top of the pipeline and focus on marketing, right? Right. Most people are just going to be focused on dispatching, but that's not what you want to do. That's why most people fail. That's why most people fail and don't make it. Yeah, so, like Cedric said, marketing first, then operations. Right now, if I would just wanted to sell some training and take people's money, then I only would talk about dispatching, right? And it'd be much easier too, right? Just to talk about dispatching, how you negotiate loads, what you say to a broker. That would be so much easier for me. But I got to concentrate on marketing and sales. So with my members, I have to do a lot of confidence building, business skill development, right? Brand and messaging. I have to teach them how to talk the language so drivers actually believe in you, right? So if I'm only talking about the operations phase, then how are you even going to know how to talk to a driver, right? And if you pay me to talk to you about the operations phase, you're wasting your money because so many things come before that. And what I do in the boot camp, I try to teach you everything that comes before that, like really quick, so you can start making some money. And like I said, I'm taking this like real business, right? My main objective, as soon as you join, I want you making money as quick as possible, right? It's business. Business, you're supposed to want to make money as quick as possible, right? So most people spend too much time on LLC setup, logos, websites. Let me tell you about. Don't even think about a website because you got to get traffic, right? Like the marketing is going to get you traffic to your website. You can build a website right now. I've been on here 30 minutes. I could have built a website by now, but nobody's going to know about it if I don't get traffic to the website. If I have ABC Freight Dispatching Services, right? And then my website is abcfreightdispatchingservices.com. If I create that right now, nobody's going to be going to that website because nobody knows about it. But by me getting owner operators to know, like, and trust me, by me marketing my business and pointing them to the website, then they're going to go to the website, right? So you don't even need a website starting out. See, these are things that's like messing up so many business owners because we get into business, especially if you're a new business owner, we get into business and people start thinking, oh, let me get my logo, let me get my website, let me do all this, right? But when you come into the boot camp, I'm going to tell you exactly the things to do first to start making money, right? We don't need to waste our time on things that's not going to bring you any immediate cash flow. So I try to get you immediate cash flow. Yeah, I got you, Cedric. Thing you want to learn immediately is hiring other dispatchers. Yeah, you definitely learn that. And we'll start off with getting those leads and getting some drivers interested in your business and getting drivers signed up. And so basically what I do is I reverse engineer the plan, right? This is the same thing I did when I was just dispatching drivers, right? For you, Cedric, I'm going to think about, you want to hire dispatchers to work for your company and you just want to focus on the business development, right? So basically I'm going to think about you being in that position, you just being able to hire dispatchers to work for you. Then I'm going to reverse engineer the plan. I'm going to think, what do we need to do? Say you sign up next week. So next week I'm going to be like, what do we need? What do I need to talk to Cedric about right now to get him up to that point as in hiring dispatchers to work for you. So every single thing that I ever say to you will be will be ideas to work you to that point, right? I dropped the link for for my boot camp in the chat. Make sure you guys go check out my boot camp program. Hey, make sure you check out my testimonials too. I'm quite proud of my testimonials. I'm proud of my members. Hey, check out those testimonials, because I don't know if it's just me, but when I look at those testimonials, I said my students, my members, the people that buy in to what I'm saying, selling, they're not average, right? I don't think they're average people. They're not like other customers in the market. So that's how I feel like I know I'm doing something right. Just listen to the words in those testimonials. But it's some really great people, right? Yeah, got a lot of love for the people in my dispatcher boot camp. And when you come into the boot camp, the goal is for you to stay in there forever. I want to start making you some money right away. And I want you to stay in the boot camp program forever. And I want to constantly be able to give you more value, so you can make that money back, so you can make a return on your investment and stay in the boot camp forever. And then for us to grow a relationship, everybody in the boot camp to grow a relationship over time. And we help each other build, not just for a couple of weeks or months, but years, right? And then we just all expand over time. Something we was talking about in one of the boot camps the other week. This is why they last 3 hours. We were talking about investing, finding some land and investing in some truck parking. And that's just the level I'm at. I want you to come into the boot camp. I want you to help you make some money so we can invest together, right? So this is like real deal. This ain't just no little training program. This is like a group, friendship, business partners. So I'm trying to be locked in like that, right? Even for me as a trainer or a mentor, I don't want to just sell training and mentorship programs. I want to help people make money so we can invest together. And that's what I want to be on. Right. So kind of getting back to the outline. So to sign up your first 3 drivers, take in all the information I just said, about knowing how to run a successful trucking business, all that. But to sign up your first 3 drivers, the first thing I believe you would need to do is work on a UVP, a unique value proposition, right? I guess when I started my freight dispatch business, with me, what made my business is unique is basically like I'm handling any and everything in your trucking business. Anything that I can do from home, I'm going to do, right? And then basically I had a proven success plan. I'm just not dispatching you, telling you I'm finding you the highest paying loads. What's unique about my business, I'm giving you the step-by-step blueprint to help you to build a successful trucking company. So you have to have something unique, or you have to be revenue focused. Maybe in your freight dispatch business, you help owner operators increase revenue by 10% every month, right? So you have to have something unique, and you have to have brand messaging. You cannot be speaking like the rest of the market, because you're just going to get overlooked. So when you first come in, you want to have that unique value proposition. Also, one thing you want to do, this is just business, right? In the boot camp, I just teach a lot of business. I feel like once you become successful in one business, you can take that same information and become successful in other businesses. So why a lot of new business owners fail? Because they're just matching the energy of the market. They're seeing the market with their physical eyes. They're seeing the market as it is, and they're just copying off of that market, right? But really what you want to do, you want to see the market with your physical eyes, see it as it is, and then you want to go within yourself, and you want to create. You want to go within your imagination. You want to think, how can I create a business that's just so much better than everything that I see? What would it take to create that freight dispatch business? And like I tell the people in my boot camp, now we're talking business, because what I'm about to say, we're talking business, because most people won't create a business in their imagination and then create that business. Basically, when I started business, like when I started my freight dispatch business, I created my business in my imagination. As I'm working on my business, I'm building out the business that I see in my imagination, right? That's what creating a business is, right? You got to actually already have the business that you want in your mind, and then the only thing you're doing when you're building the business, you're just building out that business that you see in your mind, right? And this is what gets a lot of people. They might have a vision at first and have a business in their mind. And then when they get into business, all type of problems come up, this, and that. And this is normal for business. I'm just really speaking, this is just real business, right? So many things come up. It can make you doubt yourself. It can make you think this way. It can make you think it's too hard. It can make you think all these different thoughts, but then you start losing that vision in your mind, right? But to be a business owner, the main thing is the vision, and you building out your own specific business that you see in your mind that's better than the businesses anybody else has ever built, right? So what you want to do, you want to conquer the market before you start. That's what it is. Like basically businesses that make it, when they from day one, they're already over the market because they're already thinking with more value. See, Cedric saying I should post more testimonials and success stories. Yes, I should. And I'll be bringing some more to members on the boot camp on live more often, like on lives when I do lives like this. But I say a lot of them, they get pretty busy. You know, I think that's the thing. They get pretty busy with all the drivers they're signing up. Then I'm kind of busy myself too. But I do want to start making more time to do that. And then on a daily basis, I'm mainly working behind the scenes with the people in the boot camp. So I put a lot of energy there, but I need to start showing people what I'm doing more because I know I put out a lot of good information, good testimonials, but it's still just a small percentage of what I'm really doing. I got members in the boot camp right now. First 4 weeks in the boot camp, they already left their full-time job, right? And that's what I really do it for. I don't do this to sell trainings. I do this to create a transformation in my customers' lives. I want to hear my customers say, yeah, I left my job. I was so ready to get out of there. Or, yeah, I'm spending more time with my family. I'm glad to be working, and I now can dispatch, and my kids are right in the other room. That's why I'm really doing this, right? That's my real purpose. Those are the things. I want to give people ideas and then be able to hear how it changed their life. And that's what keeps me going, right? And that's the same, I feel like freight dispatchers need to be for owner operators. That's where I first picked this up. When I start giving good ideas to owner operators and it increased their business, they were able to hire a driver to place in their truck. They were able to hire or purchase a second or third truck. So I just start falling in love with that. I love being able to help people out and then see their life changing. So you got to have a step one to sign up the first 3 drivers or to start signing up drivers. You got to have a UVP. I will write that down. Unique value proposition. You have to have brand messaging. You have to increase brand awareness. Brand awareness is the amount of people who know about your brand, right? You have to increase the awareness behind your brand, and increasing the awareness is going to make you more money. Keenan, I see the question. That's a good question. Put that on the screen. For someone who wants to hit the ground running outside the cost of the boot camp, what is the minimum amount needed to invest to get a dispatch business up and running? So there's no minimal amount needed. And I really can't even tell you the cost because just think about it. Every single business in the world gets started with different amounts of money. Every business gets started with spending different amounts of money. But I tell you, just so I can't put an exact cost on it. Of course, my goal is for it to be no cost, right? Really, you want to business period. You want to start making money from your customer as quickly as possible, using other people's money, using your customers' money, and then reinvest in your business using other people's money. So I would say my goal is for when you join the boot camp, tell you the truth, when you join the boot camp, all I'm ever going to think about is how do we get some customers as quickly as possible for as least money as possible. And then my mind's just always on the ideas to make that happen. And then once you start having some cash flow coming into your business, I will be telling you, oh, yeah, invest in this marketing, do this marketing, maybe like paid type marketings. And then too, I just listen to where everybody's at that joins the boot camp. So if you tell me, a lot of people pay for the boot camp and, say I want to just do free marketing right now. So I'm just going to think of all the ideas for you to market for free. So it's not really a cost. It's not really, I can't say, $500 or $1,000 or anything like that. And I think a good way for me to answer that is just by thinking about the people who have been in my boot camp. And I would say, yeah, everybody in the boot camp, for the most part, who has signed up drivers, I don't believe they spent any money outside of the boot camp to start signing up drivers. Because even the information that I'm teaching in there, I'm already teaching the information for you not to spend any money to sign up a driver. So good question, good question. See, Cedric, you asked this a while ago. Do I still create websites for dispatchers? No, I don't. I guess I can say even for me. And that's the kind of stuff I start trying to get away from. Like I honestly people used to pay me and I used to create their website. But now I think my attention is just more on like what creates success. And as I said earlier, I think you need traffic, you need brand awareness before you start sending people to a website. So I no longer offer that service anymore. And then I'll just say the reason too, just like I do people in the boot camp, as I'm talking, I try to teach business, right? In business, you don't really want to offer a product or a service to your customer if you don't feel like it's going to benefit them, right? So I start to feel like more people need to learn how to generate market demand, get traffic before they send people to a website. And that's why I say you don't even need a website, because in the beginning, you don't need a website for your business. You need to market on social media. And then once traffic builds up to a certain point, once you got more eyes on your brand, you need to send them to a website. But you're not going to have enough traffic to send them to a website. And even me as a business owner, after I realized more people need, more marketing training before they even think about a website, what that does for me, it allows me to make more people successful. And now I got, even more testimonials on my website. So just like for you as a freight dispatcher, the main thing you want to do is help your customers be successful. Now, so if I got something like a website, and I know most people don't need that in the beginning, it's other activities that could lead to success. I want to kind of like stop doing that and focus on those other activities that lead to success. So that way I will have more successful people in my program, right? So I don't do it quite yet, but when it comes time, and then to add to that, I have a CRM program, right? Specifically built for freight dispatchers. I spent a lot of money having that program developed, that piece of software program. So I even have that. You're not going to need a website. That comes with landing pages. It comes with everything you need, email marketing, text marketing. It comes with so much, but I don't even sell that, because basically once you come into the boot camp and you start marketing your business, selling, getting traffic into your business, and then you have the option of enrolling in that CRM program. But I don't talk about that too much anymore, because I believe most people need to learn the marketing. And that's the thing. People go out and get like CRM programs, invest into all this software, but more, see, this is what I'm saying. Like, I think social media kind of messed it up, because on social media, we're talking about software programs and buying it this, buying it that, but it's really the person that needs developed, right? I need to, when people come into the bootcamp program, I need to build marketing skills. I need to build sales confidence, right? I need to build certain skills within my members and not tell them like, go out and sign up for this or sign up for that. We need to build the skills within you first. And then once those skills are built up, that's going to create a need for a website, a CRM program, for email marketing systems, for all this other stuff you got to pay for. So I think that's one of the main things in business, because I think most people are going to come in thinking about what software programs they need, right? Instead of thinking about developing themselves as a business owner. So step one is just have something unique about your business. You want something unique, something that makes you stand out. And then something else we do in the boot camp, I'm going to share my screen with you guys. This is what I'm always doing on the boot camp too. I just plan to be here 30 minutes. It's going on an hour. So I'm going to look to wrap this up soon. But another thing, so you have that unique value proposition, and then you need to go on what I call a marketing sprint, right? In business, and this is what I do for the people in the boot camp too. Like I tell them, we need to run your business like it's a corporation. We need to have our thinking up to the corporate level thinking for your business. that being said, I believe you need to go on a marketing sprint. You know, you got to go on sprints. There a certain time frame that you give focused attention towards certain goals. So even the boot camp, when you first you sign up for 4 weeks, right? That's a 4 week sprint. You come into my boot camp program, we're just not sitting around on our hands, right? Now we going on a 4 week sprint to make a transformation happen within those 4 weeks, right? So basically we use Trello. I'll drop the link for Trello in the chat too. One thing I would do, I would just go into Trello and start playing around with it. It's free. So just playing around with it, and kind of, even if you're not joining the boot camp, don't plan on it, or maybe you plan on joining it later. Basically, the boot camp is the proven success plan, right? So even if you don't plan on joining the boot camp, the things that I say that we do in the boot camp is what you need to be doing for your own business, right? So this is what I call the plan of the week, right? So the plan of the week, you have the plan of the month, you have the plan of the week here, and you have the different days of the week, which would be your PODs, plan of the day. And then you got have complete over here. So basically doing a marketing sprint, what you need to say is like, and this is what I do, or Cedric, like if you was to join the boot camp, I would have a conversation with you and we would put on your plan of the month what you want to accomplish during these next 4 weeks. And we would basically go on a sprint, right? We call them sprints. And in business too, once you start your freight dispatch business, even after months and years of being open, you need to have sprints to get your business further, right? Trucking businesses need to do the same thing. They need to have sprints to get the trucking business further. So for the plan of the month, you might write, so sign up 3 drivers. So we put in that for your first car, right? Sign up 3 drivers. Increase brand awareness. So basically what we do, we put your big strategic goals of the month down, right? So even this is what you would need to do. You would need to have that UBP. You would need to get your brand messaging straight. So basically what your brand messaging is as a freight dispatcher, you need to speak and you need to market your business, you know, with all the solutions on how to make a trucking business successful, right? And then once you learn all those things, you want to do a marketing sprint. You want to kind of create a plan. Like this is your blueprint. You need to create this plan and you need to follow it. So basically, you're going to say, sign up 3 drivers. That's what you want to do this month. And you want to increase brand awareness. Then every week, what we do is we're going to put the task to complete every week. It might be, so during this week, create a Facebook page. So you go create a Facebook page. Maybe you don't want to have one started. It's like we just starting wherever you're at right now. And so basically, and these are the ideas. So basically, I'm going to be teaching you, giving you all the ideas you need to get to where you want to be, right? We just go reverse engineer the plan. That's what this board is for. So we can just work everything backwards and work up to where you want to be. So create Facebook page. So one thing, so it's not like I would tell you, like right now, I wouldn't be saying create a website or something like that if you don't even have a Facebook page created. So it's going to be create a Facebook page. We might be say post 3 times. So it might be create a Facebook page, then post 3 times per week on Facebook. And then during like the Saturday bootcamp meetings, we're going to be going over ideas. And then basically I'm going to be speaking about how to create a successful trucking company while we're on those Saturday meetings. So then that's going to give you ideas of what to post about on the Facebook page, basically. So we're going to write down everything you need to do during the week. I'm not that big on cold calling. I'm not saying we have to do much cold calling, but I'm just putting examples on here right now. Let's say So we would basically fill up. It'll just be a couple of tasks like you need to do during the week. It'll probably be more than this, but what you'll start doing is you'll start putting posts on Facebook 3 times per week. What I might just do with this, just to keep it easy, post. Sometimes I just do something like that. Post on Facebook, take out 3 times, post on Facebook, save that. And then what I would do is see if I can duplicate it. It's somewhere I can duplicate it. Probably can't remember just right now, but that's why I wanted to show you that you can just duplicate this card. And what I would do basically, since I don't see duplicate right now, or it might be right here. Let's see if that'll work. Yeah, that'll work. Probably was somewhere else too. Just forgot it right now. But post on Facebook. So at first we said post on Facebook 3 times a week. So you might drag one of them here. That's one time you go post. Maybe you go post on Wednesday. And then on Friday, you're gonna make another post on Friday. See, this is helping you keep up with your marketing and what you need to do, right? Because what happens with most people, they come into business and then they just get off track. But we need something like this that keeps us on track. So like I said, it'd be more here on Plan of the Week, and then you would just drag the card to whatever day during the week that you're going to do it. And this is kind of creating a schedule. This is your blueprint right here. Yeah, hey, second, no, I don't own the vet no more anymore. It was a fun car. I don't own it anymore though. So basically, what you want to do, like Monday, after you created the Facebook page, come down here and drag it down to complete, right? And then for business, the more tasks that you get drugged down to complete, the faster your business is going. The more you get into the money, right? Because you're actually completing the tasks that lead to the money. And what I do, like even right now in life, I'm on like a 6-week sprint, right? So a certain goals that I want to get done for these 6 weeks, including business goals and including personal goals, fitness goals, nutrition goals, right? So I put all that on my plan of the week too, like meal prep, whatever, go to the gym. I put all that, including my business stuff, on the plan of the week. And I execute on everything. And I feel like that's another thing we talked about in the boot camp too. I think just for our own personal lives, we need to be executing like on a sprint, or sometimes just in our lives, say some people may want to lose weight. That can be on there too, or become more healthier, just become, maybe it's certain things you want to do with the kids, with the wife, with the husband, whatever. But I would like come up with a 6-week sprint or a 4-week sprint and say during the course of these 4 weeks, these are all the things I'm going to work on. These are all the things I'm going to improve and accomplish, and come up with all those things. And then what I do every Sunday, and this was really what got my dispatch. Like I can talk about all this stuff, but what I'm about to say right now is really what got me to become successful in freight dispatching, right? Because I was like a lot of other people when I first started. I wasn't keeping up on the things that I needed to do, right? And really this plan of the week, it came from the Navy. I used to be in the Navy, and this is what we did in the Navy. Then I thought back to the Navy. I'm like, well, if it was good enough for the Navy, it's good enough for my business. So what I started to do, and I just had it on like plain notebook paper at this time, but I actually wrote out like plan of the month, plan of the week. I wrote all this stuff out on paper that I have up here on the screen. So I wrote down everything I needed to do for my business. And I was like so frustrated with where I was at, and I just wanted to get my business going. I said, I'm going to put down everything on the plan of the week that I need to do for my business, and everything else is secondary. I don't care what's going on, what nobody says, what nobody try to get me to come out and do. If the stuff ain't done for my business, I ain't doing a damn thing, right? But the stuff for my business is going to get done. And I'm glad that I took up that mentality. And basically when I start doing that, that's when drivers reaching out to me, got a driver here reaching out to me, got somebody else, got 2 or 3 trucks reaching out to me. That's when I started to take off. And then I realized it's because I did what I needed to do. And then I kept up on that consecutively over time. So that's what really made me successful. If I wouldn't have done that, I would have still been on my job working. I would be sitting on this training with you guys tonight, right? So you really got to be doing what you need to do, like all the time. You got to realize you're starting a business, you're building the foundation of a business. and that foundation needs to be really strong, really strong. I teach a lot of this in my 3-day workshop too. I have a 3-day sprint. It's a sprint too. It's a 3-day sprint to help you build your business, for you to start and launch your business. I'm going to leave the link here and that too. So the link for the boot camp should be there, and the link for that 3-day workshop. Just so you know, that 3-day workshop is $97, and the boot camp is $997. So for under $1,000 for the boot camp, you basically get all my knowledge, everything I learned over the years. And like I said, we got the boot camp chat. I'm constantly sending out audio messages, and then the stuff I teach, you can take it to any business. It's not just dispatching. You can use, I want you to use this information that I teach for every single business that you own. I'm really more concerned with developing and business owners. I'm not even really thinking just freight dispatching. I'm thinking just business. So yeah, this is the Trello board, and this is what we'll be using inside the boot camp. And I will be giving you all the right ideas to put on your Trello board to lead you to success. And then what I'll recommend for you to do after you become a dispatcher, do the same for your owner operators. Maybe you have one for your owner operators. And how I would sell an owner operator, I would tell them I use Trello, and maybe I would say increase. So maybe for your owner operator this month. So now I'm acting like this board is for your owner operators, not you, right? So I know we got this stuff on here about cold calling or whatever. We can move it. I can delete it or whatnot. But you want to improve. So this is what I use to improve my customers. And I give them all the ideas for improvement, and we put them on here. But the same thing you would need to do for your customers. Maybe it's your owner operator trucking business, increase revenue by 10%. And then maybe it needs to be decrease deadhead miles. So to me, now we're talking business, even for the trucking company. See, you wanting to increase their revenue by 15% this month, and you want to decrease deadhead miles by 10%, right? Business, you want the profit to be as high as possible, and you want the money that's coming out of the business to be as low as possible. Then as a dispatcher, you try to get those two numbers as far away from each other as possible. Yeah. Yeah. So you got a comment. I think I want to join this boot camp. I haven't heard anyone talk about dispatching this way before. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. And that's the way we want to be in business. See, you don't want to talk about business. See, you're going to be matching the market. So if you talk about business or a particular industry, it could be freight dispatching. If you speak the same way that the market's speaking, that means your mind is thinking the same way as the market, and you're going to be led to the same results as the market. That's the number one thing when you come into business. You don't want to think anything like the market. As a freight dispatcher, you don't want to think anything like a market. Like I said, if I'm coming into freight dispatching these days, and this is how I'm going to market my business, I'm going to tell my owner operator, hey, I use Trello. I put everything that we want to do, that we come up with to improve your business. I put it on a Trello board. I share this with them. So I tell my owner operator, if you want to increase your revenue, we're going to come up with a percentage. I'm going to track your revenue from month to month. So if you want to increase the revenue by 15%, then we're going to put it on your Trello board. And then if you want to, I heard you when we spoke last time, you told me how you have so many deadhead miles and they're just cutting into your profit so much and you're spending so much on fuel. So that being said, I believe we need to decrease your deadhead miles by 10%. And you show them the board, all right? Now think if you could market your freight dispatch company like this, right? Then you're going to stand out. See, you don't want to blend in. That's the reason you don't want to you don't want to talk like everybody else, because you're going to blend in and get overlooked. So just by speaking differently than the market, that's going to make the money, right? Everything I say is to make money. So if I say a certain thing, it's because I know it's going to increase your revenue. So then, if you say you want to increase revenue by 10, 15%, Then you start putting down different things, you and the owner operator, whatever you can do on your side to increase the revenue or decrease the deadhead miles, you start putting on the Trello board. Anything the owner operator can do, you start putting on the Trello board, and then you move it to what days you guys are going to do it. And I think by doing this with owner operator, they're going to feel like, oh, this person really cares about me. They ain't a normal dispatcher just saying you got the highest paying loads, right? Then that's when they're going to really feel like that you care about their business. And then you start tracking all these numbers and you put down the results. So business, what we need to do in business, like I teach them in the boot camp, I'm sure Kizzy, we got some boot camp members that then came in. You got Kizzy, and also just click the link to go to my website. I think the first testimony on there is Kizzy. She's in the chat tonight. And she said, higher thinking required. Yeah, it takes higher thinking. If you think the same as the market, how can you be above the market? Or how can you get customers if you're thinking with the same energy as the market, right? So you want to track their revenue, right? You want to track their revenue. Oh, yeah, and I tell them in the boot camp, I will write this down too, lead indicators and lag indicators, right? You got lead indicators and lag indicators. Lead indicators is what you do, right? It's the activities that you're going to do. And the lag indicators are the results, basically cause and effect. Like I said, we got to go back to real business, not just complaining when something goes a certain way or because the market's a certain way. We got to think of what can we do to create our own market, right? So lead indicators and lag indicators, what we put on this board are our lead indicators. It's the activities that we're going to do. And our results would be our lag indicators. So for business, even if you want to sign up customers as a freight dispatcher, you need to come up with a plan of the week, plan out your week, plan out your lead indicators, and then measure the lag indicators. You need to put down everything you're going to do to sign up drivers, and you need to complete all those activities, and then you need to measure the results. That's business 101, right? Business is not about complaining. Business is not about thinking or talking negative. Business is thinking about the right ideas that actually improve your business, executing on those ideas, and then measuring the results. Now we're talking business, right? So that's one thing in the trucking industry. It's kind of like it's too much negative talk. It's too much talk on the market. People talk about rates in the market, not realizing you have to create your own market by you going out, or owner operator going out, networking with brokers, networking with shippers, growing their relationship with brokers, right? Yeah, of course, some brokers lowball, some brokers don't pay a lot of money, but I don't want to hear nothing about those brokers. Don't even bring them up to me. They ain't paying money. I don't want to hear about them, right? What's the use of talking about them if they're not paying any money? And what's the use of keep complaining about them, right? The thing to do is to network with more brokers, meet brokers who actually pay a good, fair rate, and build your relationship with them. Forget about the ones that's not paying any money. Like the trucking industry never made much sense to me, right? And that's the reason why I'm saying that, because so many people concentrate on the negative and don't concentrate on what actually leads to success. That's a misuse of the mind. That's not using the mind, and it's a lazy way to use your brain. Honestly, what I think, because you need to be thinking about the right solutions. Just like me now, I want to think about the right ideas. I want to think and talk about that to be able to give it out to people. If I'm talking about the wrong ideas or the negative stuff, that don't mean nothing to nobody. What's the point of listening to that, right? But you'll see in trucking, let a major trucking business go out of business. Everybody's talking about it. I don't want to know about the ones that go out of business unless you're going to tell me what they did to go out of business. I want to talk about the ones that's still open, that's making some cash flow, right? And what they're doing to make money, right? I don't want to talk about what the people did to go out of business. The only reason I want to know about that is so I don't do the same thing, but that's a short conversation. Let's hear about the ones that's making money. And then by intaking those thoughts, you're going to be able to make money, right? But trucking is the other way around. And really, to make money in the industry, you want to look for industries like trucking, where most people speak negative and nobody's talking towards any solutions. And then you come in and you be the person speaking towards solutions, and you will attract cash flow to you. Because cash flow likes positivity. Cash flow likes solutions. Cash flow likes good idea, right? Money loves these things. You just got to have the thoughts and the speech that money loves, and money will come find you. You don't got to chase it. Yep, yep. So yeah, that's the Trello board. That's what we use. That's what we use. Also, I'm about to end it here soon, but what I wanted to bring up is Chat GPT. We use Chat GPT a lot. You know, I still get people asking about, like, how do I create a freight dispatch agreement? I don't know if they haven't used Chat GPT before. So please create a freight dispatch agreement for my company, Revenue Dispatch. This easy. Now you got your freight dispatch agreement, right? It's literally this easy, okay? You got a whole freight dispatch agreement. So that's why you got to move past these things fast, right? You can get all this on Chat GPT. Chat GPT can do this for you. You can have your freight dispatch agreement in seconds. Anybody else have any questions before I end it for tonight here? Any questions? Any questions? Like I said, you got to create your own market demand. Drivers just aren't going to sign up with you just because you got a freight dispatch company. Same for owner operators. The highest paying loads aren't going to come to an owner operator just because they have a trucking company, right? You have to do things to make higher paying loads come to you. You got to go out and network with an increasing amount of brokers. As an owner operator, as you network with more brokers and more shippers, you're growing your possibilities, or you're growing your opportunities to generate high paying loads. So as an owner operator, just complaining about the market will never generate high paying. It's a waste of thought. You're wasting revenue, right? In business, there's no need to ever complain, because those complaining thoughts aren't investments. All your thoughts need to be investments, need to be ideas that can lead to money. You have to have like money ideas, right? But speaking negative, speaking about, low rates and all this other stuff, that don't lead to the money. What leads to the money is thinking about, well, how do I increase my rates? How do I increase the opportunities to have higher paying rates? Question about the boot camp. Does the new boot camp start every 4 weeks? Nope. The boot camp starts from the day you enroll. So let's say you enroll tonight, it start tonight and it go on for 4 weeks. So I created it this way. So as soon as somebody signs up, we get going immediately, and you don't have to wait till a specific time. If anybody wants to enroll tonight, you'll get going with my information. You'll be directly in the boot camp with everybody else, with everybody like this on the testimonials. You'll be in the boot camp with us, and Kizzy. She's also my boot camp coordinator. And thanks so much, Kizzy. I shouted out everybody in the boot camp earlier. Tell everybody I'm so grateful for them, because I couldn't do the boot camp. Wouldn't be the boot camp with just me. It's about the members that's in the boot camp. And Kizzy is the boot camp coordinator. So she's always doing a lot within the boot camp to help other people become successful. One that I think is the second step when you enroll in the boot camp is to schedule a phone call with Kizzy. So when you enroll, you will be immediately scheduling a phone call with Kizzy, the boot camp coordinator, and she will be telling you more about the process and what you can expect of me, what I expect of you guys to become successful. And just to put this out, as soon as you enroll in the boot camp, I kind of expect you to get going. I will be available to help you as soon as you get going, but this is not a program for like half-time people that's just trying to come in and half-ass it. And my program is not for those type of people. So if anyone knows you're like that type of person, I suggest you go join somebody else's program, because what I'm doing is like I'm really building real freight dispatching businesses and working with people that actually want to get to success, want to put the work in and build a real company, right? So those are the type of people I'm looking to work with. So as long as you want to build a real company, you want to offer actual value for owner operators, you have goals in life like leaving your full-time job, spending more time with your family, You know, if you're that type of person, you're my type of person. And we got a lot of other members in the boot camp just like that that's willing to work with you. But hey, I thank everybody for being out here tonight. Hey, make sure you click the link in the description of this video. You can get to my 3-day workshop, and you can also get to my dispatcher boot camp, right? You can get to all that from my website, from the links. One more thing I just drop out there, I didn't touch on this. Basically, after you do that marketing sprint, you do all your marketing, you're going to start getting booked sales calls. You got to know, especially in the beginning of your dispatch business, you're going to have to get on sales calls. People are not going to just sign up with you, you know, and they haven't talked to you, right? So that's another thing. You got to know how to handle a sales calls. You know, nobody talks about sales calls. I got to do a whole nother video on that. Nobody even talks about sales calls in freight dispatching, right? But that's one of the main things, and you want to make sure you're always getting on an increasing amount of sales calls. So just wanted to drop that in. But if you guys want to sign up, if you want to work with me one-on-one and the other members of the boot camp, just hit the link in the description. It was great being on live with you guys tonight, answering your questions, giving you this knowledge, and I hope to see you soon in my boot